Hi, and welcome to another episode of D-LinkTV Q&A. I'm Mike.
And I'm George.
And we're here to answer your questions. If you point your browser to www.dlinktv.com, there's a little web form that you can fill out and submit your question to be answered right here. So today we're going to talk about IP cameras and remote access. And our question is kind of like a how-to thing also. Loretta from Knoxville, Tennessee says that she's a brand new mom who's going back to work and she would like to be able to check in on her baby, and she wants to know if D-Link IP cameras would allow her remote access from work.
Right. So the simple answer is yes.
Yes.
But first let's talk about the range of cameras that are available.
Right.
Because if you go to the D-Link website, D-Link.com, and go to products and then IP cameras, you'll see a whole list of cameras there with little pictures.
Right.
And so the differences are trade-offs between price and features.
Right.
And so starting at the very top, you have the full function, the 6600 family, which has full pan tilt zoom. And so in this case, this is the 5300, which gives you, there it is, it gives you both pan and tilt. Right. But this one has a fixed zoom, so it doesn't have the motorized lens. And so it's not going to be as expensive as the 66 family. Right.
The more servos and moving parts and stuff like that in it, the more expensive it's going to be.
Right. And then as you go down to the more affordable ranges, or the less expensive ones, they're fixed focus. And so in that case, you would set it up, say, in a baby's room, where you don't really need to be panning around because it's not usually that big a room.
Right.
And so fixed focus is probably a really good choice because you can set it up aimed right at, say, the baby's crib with a wide enough angle to be able to see somebody coming in and moving around the room. But you don't really need to be able to zoom in way down into the corner of the room or looking out the window or things like that.
Right. The other nice thing about the fixed focus cameras is that they're much better for motion detection.
Right.
Which would lead into, because when your camera's moving like this, it can't, it's already moving, so it's always setting off the motion detection. But when you have the fixed focus one, you could focus it, say, and have it kick on when the door opens, or if something moves at the window or something like that, so that way you can monitor the baby.
And they do have microphones built in, so you can also monitor audio as well as video if you so desire.
Right.
And so the key, though, to monitoring it remotely, now, one thing is they can all be set up to stream video based on a motion sensor, either stream pictures or video, to a storage device, like, say, the DNS323 we have over here, that gives you storage. They're long-term. Say this is for more of a surveillance kind of application.
Right.
But also you can use it for a home application, that kind of thing.
Well, if you have, God forbid, something you think that your nanny's doing something to your baby, you're going to be able to record that off-site where the nanny can't get to it and do something to it, which is,
this way you
the
can
worst case scenario.
Well, and this way you can actually get work done at work,
right,
so that you don't have to be watching it at all times, because we don't want to get you in trouble now. And so then, say on your lunch or your break, maybe you go and you just scan quickly through some of the pictures that have been saved, and look how cute the little baby is, it's playing or sleeping or whatever.
Right.
So back to the cameras. To be able to do the remote access, the key is you've got to open up some ports on your router to allow outside traffic to get to the camera, because by default the router's firewall is set up to block external traffic.
Right. So all you would get is a black, square is all you're going to see.
Right. And so there are a number of descriptions on our support site, support.dlink.com. In particular, if you go to the DCS 5300G, there's a number of the frequently asked questions that talk specifically about how to set up internet access, remote access for that camera. But as part of this video, in the coming slides or screens you're going to see, Mike will go through in great detail exactly how to set it up, because it's very simple.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to open up the ports that are at your bottom of the screen right here on your router. This is similar to what we did in episode 7 for our regular viewers on opening up the port to allow FTP access to our DNS323. Right. We're going to do the same thing right now to show you how to open up the ports for remote access to one of our IP cameras.
And in fact, if you want to have multiple cameras in your home, or say, for another application, maybe you've got a vacation home, and you want to have a camera that can, one that can look out front, and then one maybe inside. And in that case, maybe you put a fixed focus outside, and then a pan tilt zoom inside so you can look around. You can set up multiple ports so that you can access both of them from the same external browser. And so there's a lot of neat flexibility there.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump into the video of how to open up the ports on your router.
Here we go.
For the IP camera. Start by opening the internet browser on your computer and pointing it to the IP address of your router. Now log into your router using the password that you've changed from the default. Next, click the Advanced tab at the top of the page and then select Port Forwarding from the left-hand side. You are now at the Port Forwarding Rules page. First, check the box to the left side to enable the rule, and then give it a name. For this example, we will use DCS6620. In the box below that, you will enter the IP address that you have assigned to your camera inside of its web UI. Now, we will enter in the TCP ports that are used by the camera. For the DCS6620, these are port 80, 5001, 5002, and 5003. Now repeat this for the UDP ports that are required. In our example, we will use 5001, 5002, and 5003. Now, select Save Settings from the top of the page and then click Reboot Now. Your router will take a few seconds to reboot and you are finished.
And that's all it takes to open up the ports for your internet camera to remotely view it, from work or, another location that has internet access.
And the other thing is, most of these cameras allow multiple people to log in.
Right.
And so say you give out the password to grandma, so grandma can see your little baby once in a while because, grandparents like that kind of thing.
Sure. So that's always a great thing, too. You could set it up and say, look at little Jimmy.
And so once your router's set up, if you share that IP address or the DNS address, if you use dynamic DNS,
which D-Link has a free service for,
and then the login information with, say, family members, then you can also share the videos that way. So,
and a lot of the cameras do have guest logins as well as administrators. So grandma couldn't go in there and mess up your whole system. She would just be able to see the interface, and if it was a pan-tilt zoom camera, she could move it around. But other than that, everything else is safe.
So there's a lot of neat stuff to allow you to really take advantage of the capabilities of the camera and share it with your family and friends.
Absolutely.
There you go.
So there you go. That will do it for this episode of D-Link TV Q&A.
Send in your questions
to dlinktv.com.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.